Hey guys, this is a what if redo because now I just think about it because I'm not copying my boy's letter because he did something interesting with his video and I just keep giving Deku overpowered techniques and all that. But the one thing I never did, I never just give Deku the transformation. Yeah, with the other powers, y'all said basically it's copyrighted, but I'm gonna do this one very more different and very more depressing. So we will begin at Midoriya's young age. Basically, he will go to the court at that age forward. But like, I'm gonna say this. Basically, Deku, the doctor will tell Iko he does have a quirk, but he doesn't know how to think a way how to activate Deku's quirk. And then she asks what a possible ability will be. Basically, like a transformation quirk or a enhancement transformation quirk. That's what he thinks. But we don't know the right trigger for it. Deku I should be happy he has a quirk, but he just needs things how to activate it. But the bullying will really not happen because Deku has a quirk, but Bakugo will still tell Deku basically he's using it because he can't use a quirk, his quirk, and he would basically show off his quirk. And Deku at this point in time will actually just like whatever Koski. Not even calling him Kachan at this point. Deku was actually doing like his training workout his mom gave him. And then Deku, every time he trains, I always feel like he's getting stronger, but he knows he can't activate his quirk. He needs to activate his quirk to be a hero. But Deku is like basically like trying to turn on his quirk, trying to figure out what's the right trigger. And then after doing like the Yagama Beach, like basically at the like he's at like 50 trash left after doing it in like 4 days. Deku just hitting the floor like why? Why can I activate it? Why? And Deku will actually look in a reflection and just get angrier and angrier until he saw something that it saw like shocked him a bit. His hair turned yellow and his eyes turned green. And but it disappeared at the point in a moment. Deku's like, what my quirk? It just but Deku now thinks about that feeling. He was angry. He has to be angry to activate his power, or once he activate it, he can figure out how to activate it without getting angry. But he would actually go up there and actually tell his mom what actually conspired, and she said, "So it is transformation quirk, but you can't activate it. You need the right trigger." That's what Deku was like saying to his mom. Basically, she said she's happy he's learning how to turn on his quirk a bit. Like Deku and Bakugo's relationship will be kind of friendly, and Baku does visit his aunt Inko, so Deku will actually be happy about that. And he will tell Bakugo he almost had the transformation, like he has the transformation quirk, almost actually activated it. And Bakugo will say he almost did, and he said what was the trigger to activate it, and Deku will explain he has to be angry for some reason. Bakugo will say angry, and like when like Deku will explain he was getting angry and like he can't activate his quirk, and he saw his hair turn yellow and like turn green, and it's basically yeah, and so Bakugo's thinking of some solutions of training, like telling Deku like to get angry. He has to find the right trigger that really snaps him. That's what Bakugo gave him advice about. Bakugo will actually be friends more with Deku. Basically, everybody doesn't bully Deku at all. But when Deku and Bakugo was going back to Deku's house, and I was about to Deku was about to go and like talk to Inko. I mean like his mom, and Bakugo was coming along. And at this point in time, they heard of house crash. Deku looked around, and Bakugo would look around as well and actually notice something about Deku's house. It's destroyed, and then he sees an Inko on the floor crawling. And then Deku and Bakugo run and grab her and ask what happened. She can barely even talk or speak. And Bakugo said we have to get her to the hospital. Deku actually agreeing about to grab Ingo, but he saw something that scared him a bit. Not really scared him, but surprised him. and he saw someone named, he has blonde hair. And he said, "Oh, some new kids. It's gonna be fun killing you." And Deku and Bakugo's head. Deku can't activate his quirk in Bakugo's head, so he has to basically grab Deku and blast off fast. So he grabs Deku and Inko and start blasting off because Deku can't really activate his quirk. So he's flying fast, and then unnoticed the Bakugo muscular, as they read on the report. Like now they remember who his face and what he looks like, and the quirk he has, that's muscular. And Deku and Bakugo notice muscular is getting faster, and out of nowhere, Deku and Bakugo was smacked to the ground, cratering it. And Bakugo was like, ah, ugh. Deku was getting up, and then he's like, we get to go. And they was going, trying to get to the hospital, trying to call pros. At this point in time, Deku and Bakugo was trying to leave, but Muscular keeps stopping them. And then Inko will actually try to levitate Muscular away, but Muscular is like really strong because Inko quirk is kind of weak. Like her quirk is like basically she can basically levitate stuff. And he said, "I'm gonna guess you're the woman, you're the kid's mom." And he smiles because I'm gonna say in the time Koda's parents was actually next to Koda, so Koda saw his parents die in front of his eyes, and he smiled. Deku knows this is gonna go bad, so he runs, try to grab his mom. His mom was grabbed by the throat, and Deku was smacked back. Baku was blasting explosions, and then Baku got smacked back to the wall, cracking a few ribs. And then they both look in horror after Muscular smashed his mom into the floor, completely killing her. And Muscular's like, ha ha, man, that was easy to kill her. And Deku, at this point, Muscular backed away from Inko and saw Deku running up to his mom and was like, Mom, Mom, hey, come on. Bakugo was like right next to Inko with his ribs hurt. He said, to Inko, hey. And then when she looked up and grabbed both of her cheek and said, it's nothing. Like, I'm going to say Muscular didn't fully kill her like that, but she said, it's alright. Hope you guys become the best heroes I know you two are. Katsuki, just be nice to Izuku a little bit more. And Izuku, just try to tolerate Bakugo. Bakugo actually won't get mad. He's actually crying. He said, Inko, come on. And then she said, please take care of each other. And passed down. Deku seeing this is not really emotionless, but sadness, anger, regret. He's regretting about not activating his quirk. He's regretting his quirk never came out when he needs it the most. He's regretting he couldn't even save his mom. And Deku was starting to get mad, twitching a bit. Bakugo would notice that, and he was trying to calm Deku down, but Deku was just getting angrier and angrier. And then Bakugo saw lightning strikes. And then Muscular will see that as well. And then you're just getting angry, angry, and angry. And he said, I will make you suffer, you bastard. And Deku was getting angrier. The floor started to crack with rage in Deku's voice. Deku was actually hearing lightning storms. Not really hearing it, but he's just ignoring it. And Deku is getting angry and angrier and angrier until the final lightning strikes hit. Deku roared with all his might, sending like not like shivers, but some warnings about like All Might. I'm gonna say All Might at this point in time never got an injury, but heard that roar, dashed over there in time to see two people over there. One looked dead, one looking at that person in astonishment power. Deku roared, and that power keeps skyrocketing. Deku walking out of yellow aura. Comes back, looks at look, and then he said, "Finally, not finally. I mean, I'm gonna say at this point in time, Deku's angry, just like how Goku was in the show, and he will actually tell Bakugo what I take his mom and tell him to get out of here. And Bakugo will actually like retort and about say he's not leaving his best friend. And Deku will actually snap and say, "Get out of here, before I lose whatever reason I have left." Bakugo will actually hear that anger in his voice, will actually grab Inko, her lifeless body, and to take her away. And Deku will look at Muscular with rage. "You took my mom, so I'm gonna take you out." And even surprising All Might, his speed was ridiculous. I mean, he punched Muscular. Even Muscular went to his full form to block that punch. Even though it hurts a bit, but Muscular's smiling like, "Oh, this is your real power, huh?" And Deku dashed, hitting Muscular again and again and again. Muscular can barely even hold on. Muscular is getting pummeled over. Deku was getting so much anger and anger. And then something happened. When Deku was doing like speed punches on Muscular, Deku did Deku was doing one final punch, just like all my plus ultra, but more with like he has like he didn't even notice because his punch was covering in yellow key, and then he socked Muscular so hard he flew into another like part of the city, and Deku was like, "He did it, mom," and then he powered down and passes out. All Might would actually take notices, grabs Azuku, and takes them to the hospital. And then once he meets the kid he saw with Izuku, he asks what happened. Bucko will actually kind of fanboy over All Might, but actually explain what happened and about what happened to Deku's mom. All Might will actually feel sorry for the kid because he didn't make it in time. And then Deku will wake up in a couple of 3 days and asks where is he at, but he noticed he's in the hospital. And then Baku's right beside him, so is his mom, Baku's mom, and asks what happened. And Baku was scared to tell Izuku what happened. But Izuku started regaining the memories. And then Deku started to cry about his mom's death. And then Baku will actually hug Izuku and say, "It's alright, let it out." Deku will actually cry out. So Mitsuki at this point in time will be there with Deku holding him because Inko and her were close friends. And then after like the subtle thing got down and he said, "Baku actually activated my quirk." Not like in a sad voice and Baku said, "Yeah." So you know how to turn it back on? Deku at this point in time was thinking about how it actually worked. Deku said he really might have one idea, but he doesn't know. And after like 3 more days, Deku got discharged from the hospital and lived with Mitsuki for a while. Like actually lives with Mitsuki, basically like that. And Baku will actually join on Azuka's training and actually help him with the trash. Alma will be there and actually go like this to Azuka and Baku, talk to them about everything, how he was so late to save him and all that. Deku knows it wasn't really All Might's fault because he didn't know where it was. Like wrong place, wrong time, he didn't know. And All Might asked to train the kid. He trained him. They would actually smile and actually say yes. And I'm gonna say this: All Might has two quirks. Two quirks. Y'all, why does All Might have two quirks? Because it appears in the manga. All Might had a second quirk, not in the manga, like in the theory. Why does All Might have a buff form and he is supposed to be quirkless? That's like our thing right there. And he would train the boys and then notice one of them is way stronger than the other, and he would actually ask them and tell them about his quirk and how it's supposed to be passed on generation after generation. And he was wondering which one of them happened to have it. And Deku will actually reject All Might's quirk because he said his quirk might be actually have more evolutions of power. He doesn't just know. And he will actually assist Bakugo having a quirk. Bakugo actually was about to retort, but he said, Amaro said yes, and then give Bakugo the quirk. Bakugo was like disgusted with it, like eating it. And Deku will give him explain version how he activated his quirk to Bakugo, how it let the power flow through you. Bakugo will actually take this into account and actually does what Deku says, let the power go through him, and then it started at Bakugo's feet, legs, arms, face, neck. And Bakugo actually activate full counting at 6%. Cause yeah, and then Deku and Bakugo will actually kind of Bakugo was spar with All Might while Deku's trying to figure out how to activate that power again. And then he actually was thinking about the same thing that happened last night about the mother's death and all that. And Deku will actually go like this and then start to power up. All Might and Bakugo will see him powering up and saw a yellow aura and his hair spiking up and changing. And then he started to power up more and try to turn it on fully, but he kind of like gasped for air because he really can't force it like that. So he said, "I can't fucking do it again. Come on." He has to keep his promise to his mom. And then Deku started to try to do it again, and still no result. All Might said he probably got one solution. He would actually tell Deku to actually meditate and focus on the same spark. Deku would say spark, and he said, "What's the power felt like to me?" And Deku would actually think about it. Deku would actually think about Deku would think about it completely, and actually got into his nerd mode and thought about a spark how to turn it on. He thinks about him being the candle, actually being a spark, basically like try to spark a fire, and imagine the fire his power, and he's the wood that's supposed to set off the spark. So Deku was actually thinking and try to manage to do this. He was able to like not do this for like the 10 months of training. When he hit the ninth month, Deku activated it, and basically he was good and proficient. His body was worked out for it, but Deku noticed he can only hold this form for like 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm not trying to make Deku that fucking OP. Like, I'm trying to make him grow. So Deku could only activate his 5 minutes and would tell All Might and Bakugo about his progress, and then ask Bakugo for a spar, and Bakugo and Deku would actually be in sparring. Deku would learn kicks, punches, and Bakugo would learn punches, explosions, kicks. So basically, this is like a good challenge for the two, and Bakugo will actually be increasing one for all through his body. So he's basically at 14%. Well, it's really basically it's like I'm gonna say this one for all is compared with Dodeku's Super Saiyan. because he haven't fully mastered it because it's at 5 minutes of being in it. So the whole thing will go kind of similar. So kind of similar. They will spar until the last day, and then they will begin the and they will begin their. Actually, I'm gonna say this. All Might will give them a recommendation. I'm gonna say in this time you can do two. So I'm gonna give them a recommendation. They will go in, do their normal thing. Actually, in this timeline, Deku will actually meet Oraka and notice that she's kind of strong. I'm just still giving Oraka a lightning quirk because it's more better for me next to the gravity quirk. So basically, it's more better for me. So basically, Deku and Bakugo will go into recommendation, and since Araka's were stronger and faster, she doesn't get caught by the robot. So they're good. Basically, go into the next day, the next week of the school. Everything will go similar. Araka will actually say hi to Deku. Deku will say hi back, and everything will go kind of similar. Aizawa will come in for the presentation thing, and about there's no sorry about that, guys. And basically, Deku is basically don't get throwing the ball first because he knows he didn't participate in the incident, so why he get the ball first? And Aizawa actually told him to stand in the circle, throw the ball on his power. Deku will actually look at Bakugo. Bakugo will just nod and just like let Deku go up there. Deku will actually go like this, breathe in, breathe out, turn on his power. And I'm gonna say this: the power. I'm gonna say over the last day, he was able to control most of the aura to calm down, so he doesn't scare none of his people. But Aizawa noticed and turned off Deku's quirk. I'm gonna say that because I'm saying this. Deku has a transformation quirk that is a Super Saiyan quirk that took him very long to unlock, and the sadness of way to go. But Aizawa actually tied Deku up and told him he will be expelled if he doesn't take this shit seriously. Deku actually nodded and took it seriously, let out his powerful power. Everybody was getting shot back, and Aizawa regret doing this because he feels the force. Bakugo's the only one standing, and Deku shot that ball into orbit. That ball went into orbit. Bakugo was next. It was not really close to Izuku's, but it was like above Izuku's, and Bakugo's in the original cannon, like 2,000 meters. Everything will go similar in canon, but Deku and Bakugo splits into all of it. So basically, Deku's first, Bakugo's second, and then it will go there. No one's expelled because I don't like doing those. So I'm gonna end it here, and hope you guys like this redo, and I hope you guys like this video. So peace out, like you guys, and subscribe.